speak in my presence, a witness to the reverent purity of my words and deeds. Words and deeds that follow the exalted, settled laws of the gods. God's law is immortal, given to mankind by Olympus above.
Hubris breeds tyranny. A bloated, vain hubris may see a man rise to great heights, but soon he will descend again to a depth from which he cannot escape. May this law live on, though harsh. Gods are my protectors.
Any man whose words or work choose an arrogant irreverence for the gods and their justice will win only a dark fate for his insolence. He who wills to gain by unholy means will be struck down by the gods, even if esteemed by men.
I vow never to return to the oracles of Apollo or Olympia if these predictions do not come true. O Zeus, do not let these predictions fail your sight. Already, the old edicts about Laius are proved false, and Apollo is nowhere to be found despite our prayers. Worship has failed us.
Citizens, I think it might be best to go to the temples of the gods. That's why I carry these offerings of garlands and incense. Oedipus, you see, is out of his mind with grief. He's not thinking clearly. He can't judge new information by what he already knows, but is at the mercy of whoever speaks to him. If they say anything fearful, I can make no headway by advising. Oh, Apollo, you are closest. So I'll approach you as a suppliant with these prayers. May you provide us with some purity, some safety, since we shrink in fear, all of us, as though we were at sea and found our captain struck with terror.
Hello, everybody. Could you tell me where the palace of King Oedipus is? Or, better still, tell me where the king himself is, if you know.
This is his home, and he is inside. This woman here is his wife and mother of his children.
Well, then may she and her family be blessed with happiness, as befits the wife of so great a man.
The same to you. You deserve as much for being so kind. But what business do you have with us, or what news do you have for us?
Good news for your house and for your husband, my lady.
What is it, and where is the news from?
From Corinth. And the news I'm here to tell you is happy news, but perhaps it may distress you nonetheless, as it is.
Well, what is it? How could it cause such different reactions?
The men of Corinth want Oedipus to be their king, at least according to what I've heard.
What? Oedipus isn't still ruling there, then?
Not since his death.
What are you saying? Can it be that Oedipus' father is dead?
Well, if he's not, then I'll die too.
Go to your master as fast as you can and tell him this news. Oh, prophecies of the gods, where are you now? Long ago, fearing justice, Oedipus fled to avoid killing this man, and now he has died by chance.
Jocasta, my dear wife, why have you called me out here?
Listen to this man, and then see how weak those all-powerful oracles really are.
Well, why? Who is this, and what does he have to do with me?
He has come with news from Corinth that your father Oedipus is dead.
What? Is this true? Tell me.
Well, yes, I'll tell you simply, he is dead.
Or foul play.
Who's all? Who knows? Doesn't take much for an old man to die.
He died suffering from some illness.
And, of course, his advanced age.
Or bad. Well, Jocasta, why should anyone care what comes from Apollo's oracle at Delphi, or the birds, or the stars whose authority said I should kill my father? He's dead and buried, and I'm here without laying my hand on a weapon. Unless he died of missing me, then it would be my crime. But Oedipus has carried that oracle down to Hades. All that for nothing.
I told you so.
You did. But I was afraid.
Well, now, let it go. Stop your worrying.
Marrying my mother, that could still happen. I should still fear that.
Why? Why be afraid? When fortune will bring what it will bring, and no one can foresee it, why fear it? Just live as you can.
still alive, I'd take your advice, but she is, and I'm still afraid of the fulfillment of that prophecy.
But your father's death is a great comfort, isn't it?
Great. I take your but still, I'm afraid of the woman who is still alive.
Who is this woman who you're so afraid of?
Meryl, sir. Oedipus' wife.
Meryl? Why are you afraid of her?
A prophecy, sir. God delivered and terrible.
Oh, well, can you tell me what it is? Or is it not something you tell a stranger?
Not at all. Apollo told me that one day I would couple with my own mother and that I would shed my father's blood with my own hands. Because of this, a long time ago, I decided to live far away from Corinth, with favorable results, as you can see, although I gave up the ability to see my parents, which was a deep loss.
This fear is why you're in exile?
Yes, not to mention the bit about killing my father.
Well, since I came here to give you good news, why don't I help cure you of this fear as well?
Do that, and certainly you would deserve my greatest thanks.
Well, my ulterior motive in coming was to be thanked after you came home.
But I will never go home, not into the same land as my parents.
Oh, my child, you clearly don't know what you're doing.
What are you saying, man? Speak.
Okay. The reason you don't come home,
I'm afraid of the fulfillment of Apollo's prophecy.
so you avoid the horror, the corruption of killing your parents.
Exactly, I can't escape that fear.
You really have no idea that this fear is completely
How
unfounded?
so if I am my parents' son?
Because Oedipus is no relation to you.
What are you saying? Oedipus is not my father.
No more than I am. We are equally unrelated to you.
How can my father be my beautiful man? I hardly know.
Well, neither one of us is your father.
But then why did he call me his son?
He took you from me. You were a gift.
Being alien to him, why did he love me as his son?
His previous childlessness more than persuaded him.
As for you, did you find me or just find me somewhere?
I found you in the wooded hills of Mount Cathyra.
What were you doing there?
I had the care of several flock,
So you were a shepherd, a wandering hand for hire.
and no less than your savior, my lord,
What did you save me from when you took me out?
that the ankles of your feet might be
What does
witness.
that old injury have to do with anything?
I was the one who released them. Your feet were pierced through.
An awful thing to do to a child.
Well, it's how I named you after that fate. Oedipus, swollen foot.
God, who did this? My mother? My father? Speak!
I don't know. The woman who gave you to me might know better than I
Wait,
do.
you got me from a woman you didn't find yourself.
No, indeed. Another shepherd gave you to me.
Well, who is she? Would you recognize her?
Yes. She was one of Laius' servants.
So Elias ruled here?
Yes, the woman was Laius' shepherd.
Well, is she still alive? Can we find her?
You'd know better than I would.
Does anybody here know this shepherd or know anyone who knows her? Is she here in the city or out in the countryside? Speak now if you know.
I think this is the same woman you've already asked for, although Jocasta might know better.
Jocasta, of course. Do you know if this woman is the same woman who's on her way?
What's the difference? Don't listen to him. Don't let him talk about this. Don't think about it.
That I could find out where I come from.
By the gods, if you care about your life, do not seek that out. I'm in enough pain as it is.
Don't be afraid. Even if I'm from generations of slaves, you won't become a commoner.
Pity me, I beg you. Don't do this.
I won't be persuaded to let this go.
Oh, wretched man. I'm trying to help you.
Help me by keeping me ignorant when ignorance has been the shame that caused me so much grief for so long.
Oh, may you never know who you are.
Someone send for the shepherd. Allow my wife to rejoice in her noble bloodline.
Oh, you're doomed. That's all I have to say to you. Now,